All right, Mike, let's dive in with this Shedeur Sanders stuff. I'm sure we got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, we got a big show. Excited for some of the topics coming up, but we will start with a little Browns talk after a quick word from FanDuel. The NBA Finals in full swing. Tonight is Game 5. It is a 2-2 series between the Pacers and the Thunder. If you want to get it on the action, whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's no better place to do it than with FanDuel. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And if you have a winning ticket, if you have a winning FanDuel ticket on the NBA Finals or Guardians game, send it in to us because we want to feature it on the show in the coming days. Send us those winning tickets. We know you got some out there. Just make sure you send them in to us via email, on Twitter, you name it. We'll feature it here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Do you think this is going 7 now?
I still think 6. We're going to talk about that in overtime. Mm-hmm. I want to start with some comments that Ochocinco made over the weekend. He was on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharp and had a bit of a Freudian slip mentioning the specific player he had talked to, but he said that's not the only player he had spoken with about Shedeur Sanders. So this is Ochocinco talking to Shannon Sharp about a conversation he had with a Browns player regarding the Browns rookie quarterback.
About it, I got a couple of young bulls out there. I talked to Denzel Ward. I talked to some, but I can't say the name. But anyway, I done talked to some people. He looked different. There's a difference when that young bull is out there spinning that ball. You hear me? Mm-hmm. Difference. I'm talking about football. I ain't talking about no media and all that hoopla and all them, on Twitter, they putting up the numbers. He was 10 for 12 for 2 touchdowns. I'm talking about when he's at the helm, he looks different. Whether he's going with the first team, second team, or third team, it don't matter. I understand getting drafted in the 5th round. All that means nothing when it's time to play football and that whistle blows. He looks different than the rest of the competition. That's what I heard. And I'm talking from a not Brother Ward. I'm just talking about from sources that's in that room, that's on that field, that's playing the sport.
So that was Ochocinco. Quote, he looks different than the rest. That was coming from Denzel Ward, who we probably shouldn't have mentioned by name, but he did, and there's no taking it back on a live stream. Gee, when you hear someone like Ochocinco say that, before we dive into how much player pressure those guys can kind of put on the situation, what do you make of what Ochocinco said and how it regards to number 12?
I heard a lot of people say that. I heard Zach Jackson say it. I heard Kurt Warner say it. I heard Bernie Kosar say it. I heard Drew Bledsoe say it. It's not like he's the only person who's come out and say, hey, man, this dude look kind of good, man. Let me tell you what I heard. A lot of people reaching out to players in the locker room and stuff. To me, I think this is it's a red herring. I'm supposed to suspend myself to disbelief that he was going to look bad. I've never expected him to look bad to start with. The 5th round quarterback stuff, that's involving perceptions, pre-draft analysis, and other teams talking about what he did and what he didn't do. For me, guess what? That's on them. If they ain't on the squad, hey, if he's not on their rosters, you hear a bunch of people talking about how Jackson Darty's struggling or any of these other people are struggling and doing whatever the case may be. But for me, I'm taking it from what I looked at last year. I looked at the film. I watched all his games. I said, I think this guy can throw the ball and I think he can play. He's came out this offseason and done nothing that has been different than I thought he was going to do and continue to do. So, look. It's just all about timing, opportunity, and when he gets a chance to get the opportunity, still performing. So I'm not surprised at all.
Looks different. I don't know that anybody has said. To me, that means like he separated himself from everybody else. Is that the way you see it, Jay?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Zach Jackson did have high praise for him.
Certain quarterbacks have that
different aura to
difference maker about them.
I wonder. I think that's what I would love to know from Denzel and the other players, like exactly what they mean by looks different.
Yeah.
Because Number one, we want him to look different. We need him to look different.
When you see Beyonce walk down the street, it's different.
Well, he doesn't look Beyonce different. Because I mean, just like there's a lot of players saying he looks different, where is he on the depth chart? And you said definitively fourth.
I'm basing that on the fact that he got 0 first-team reps.
Right. Now,
so just
we had floated the maybe not conspiracy theory, but theory on Friday that maybe that's by design. Well, it is by design. It didn't accidentally happen that he didn't get to hit the field with the ones. So we have to dig deeper into, okay, why didn't he get first-team reps? Do they think he's not ready? Do they think that if he gets those reps, that there might be things that are exposed that they don't want to be exposed yet? I don't know. That's for Kevin Stefanski to say. Here's the thing that my takeaway from that is, God, I hope so. I hope so. Because we need someone to look different. And even if it's that command in the huddle, because I agree with you, G, I think that is a skill set that is often overlooked. And if it comes down to a 4-way tie, to me, the guy that commands the huddle best gets the job until he loses the job. So I don't think it's a talent-based tie, though. I just don't. However, it's encouraging that guys inside that locker room are actually saying, he looks different. I mean, presumably in a good way. Jay, I think the questions that we have that come after this, how much should player input and opinion play into who the coaches decide wins the job? In your experience, have you ever seen a locker room that was heavily in favor of one guy who might not have been the coach's guy, but he gets the nod because the players like him?
I mean, I'll go back to last year. I think the players were fed up with Deshaun, and it didn't matter. They were playing Deshaun.
Coach kept standing in front of cameras saying he gives us the best chance to win.
Yeah, so, no, I don't know that. I think it depends on the player. It's like in basketball, if LeBron walks in the coach's office and says something, it's going to carry a lot more juice than a cornerback or even a defensive end like Miles. In the NFL, usually it's the quarterback who has that juice.
Sure.
So when you're talking about the quarterback, I don't know. Listen, I think ultimately, Shedeur Sanders is going to start multiple games for the Browns this year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get his opportunity. Do I think the players are going to pressure the coaching staff on when that happens? No.
I think the fans probably have more to do with that than anything.
And the Browns are pretty good at tuning that stuff out too. I mean, just based on, again, recent history and
well, just last year,
what the fans went through with Deshaun, what the organization experienced with Deshaun. Obviously, this is a completely different situation. I'm just saying there was a lot of public pressure and sentiment to go one way, and there were players in the locker room who wanted to go one way, and the organization continued on it.
Should I lose faith in the organization for whoever made that decision to say he gives us the best chance to win, when every single fan in the Browns fan base would hear that and say that's ridiculous?
I'm not trying to compare Deshaun to Shedeur.
I know you're not, but I'm asking, should we even trust the coaches now on who they tell us gives us the best chance to win? Because they didn't miss by a little last year. They missed by a mile last year.
They had no choice in that. They had no choice in that.
Then say that. Organization wants to make sure that Deshaun Watson is not the guy.
When you saw that price tag,
don't lie to us.
When you seen that price tag, everybody knew what it was. He is going to play. It's the reason why they didn't even bring Flacco back. They said, no, we're not going to put it. We owe him how much money? All right, well, he got to play. It is what it is. Now, he got hurt, and I don't want to say it's a blessing for anybody to get hurt. That took that piece off the table. Now, but
at what price? It damaged the coaching staff's credibility.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's the Cleveland Browns. I mean, how much cachet do we have to lose here?
I don't know if I have any left.
Yeah, okay, we lost a little bit.
Kevin Stefanski, I mean, I had faith in Kevin Stefanski. But after last year, week after week, him saying he gives us the best chance to win, he doesn't.
We knew Kev couldn't make that move. It's just the same way when he was paying Baker hurt. We all knew it.
I wanted them to make the change earlier than what they did too. I thought it was pretty evident early on Deshaun was shot. But in fairness, Jameis didn't win him a whole lot of games either, and Dorian didn't even look like an NFL quarterback.
No, but Dorian was not in the equation. But Jameis was a better quarterback last year.
Yeah, but
it didn't result in many more wins.
No, but it resulted in more wins.
But did it? I don't remember now.
Yeah, it was 1 versus 2. It was 1 versus 2.
Okay.
So my thing is, look, man, I just take a look at which I like the way he's moving with this, man. You see, because I've always thought from Jump Street, if you just throw him out here and all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's competing with Flacco today, you know what people would say? They say, oh, here y'all go giving people another. You just let him. He didn't earn anything. You just let him 5th round pick. You threw him out there. He didn't earn nothing. You didn't find nothing about him. We're gonna give you first team.
Well, before
reps.
he gets anything, he's got to beat Flacco.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But if he was today,
I'm okay with them giving him reps to compete with Flacco.
well, there would be a lot of people that would be okay with that.
I am,
because they would
open
say
competition. Let's go.
They would say, you know what? He was the 3rd round. He was a 5th round pick over a 3rd rounder. They went and got Kenny Pickett first, and Joe Flacco knows the offense. So they'll say, why is it this guy is getting all these reps with the ones, and those other guys are mixing it in with him? I like the approach. You know why? Because guess what? It's mini camps, and you can say when he does start, or he does get an opportunity, there will be nobody or no detractor can look at you in your face and say he did not earn it. No one gave him anything. He was a 4th team quarterback all the way into camp until he started getting reps, and then that keeps your credibility as a coaching staff to say, I told you it was a real competition, and if you start off 5th, you're going to have to climb some stuff. So for me, I'm hoping this is what happens. I hope he gets his rep when the regular camp comes, and then you know when we're going to find out if he's different or not? When they get the pass on. And then it's undeniable.
Sure.
I think
we're going to find out when the game starts.
It's so early still. It's June 16th, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, June 16th last year, we still thought Deshaun was an NFL quarterback. We still thought he was good. I was
looking for 4,500.
I mean, this is so early in the process that I'm curious to see when this team returns for training camp, if he's still not getting rep, because I won't be surprised if you see when training camp starts.
No, training wheels come off at training camp.
He starts, and I don't think either of the rookies are starting week 1. I agree with you. We've talked about it. If it's close, throw the rookie out there. I want to see the rookie, but I think it'll be one of the veterans that starts week 1. But I've already spent on record. I think Shedeur should start more games than any quarterback on this roster, just to get a look at what you've got. But I'll be curious to see if what we saw in OTAs and mandatory minicamp carries over to training camp, or if you start to see him climb up the roster, up the depth chart a little bit more.
Yeah, me too.
And at what point? Is it early?
We've used this as the answer all along, and this is what I love it. It's a meritocracy, man. Nobody's getting nothing they don't deserve. Nobody. And we're gonna find out. We're not gonna learn in OTAs because Denzel said he looks different. That doesn't rubber stamp anybody to the front of the line. We're not going to learn if he throws 3 picks in a practice in OTAs. That doesn't necessarily eliminate anybody from contention.
No.
We're going to find out when the pads go on, I can't wait for preseason. That's the first time I've ever said that in my life.
It's the joint practices that
Joint practices are huge.
Philly and Carolina.
What does he look like when the other team is trying? And when they want to knock his head off.
Is he getting those reps?
Yeah, well, he better. He better. Because we got to find out. And Joe said it's not going to take us long, Joe Thomas.
By the time, when is those? I should know this.
See, we don't have their schedule yet.
No, we have the joint practice schedule.
First week of August, third week of August, something like that.
I'm looking it up right now.
By the time, see, if it's middle of August, you're getting ready for the season.
Yeah, that's late.
You're rolling starters.
It's weeks 1 and 2 of the preseason.
Oh, good. Probably by design.
Well, I mean, you're getting ready. You're trying to get your starters ready at that point. So I'll be. Well,
that's early in training camp, though. I mean, it's a couple weeks in.
Yeah, it is. But I just think there's a lot of work especially at that quarterback.
You wouldn't want to do it later, would you? Because the later you
go,
you
want to do it early.
Want the answer.
You want to do it early.
Yeah, get it out of the way.
I hope he gets live reps against the starting defense for Carolina.
I'd love. They won't do this. I know they won't do this. But I'd love if they would say, Shedeur Sanders, preseason game number 1, it's all you. The whole game.
Well, they won't do that.
I know they won't. But I want to see him.
But I think he'll play in week 1.
I want to see him.
I would be like, I would play. This may sound stupid. I wouldn't even pay Pickett.
I wouldn't either. Week 2, Dylan Gabriel, it's you.
Either I'm gonna play one guy is gonna play a half, Or if you want to mix it up, like, okay, you going to get a quarter, he going to get a quarter, you get a quarter, or you going to play one game and he going to play a game.
Do half and half. Give me your half.
Do half and half. I'll do half and half
Yeah,
the first
let
two games.
Shedeur start game 1 and Gabriel plays the second half. Flip it for game 2. And then, you know, I don't need to see Flacco and Pickett. Have they changed since we saw them last? They are who they are.
They are who
I
they
need
are.
to find out who these two guys behind the hidden curtain are.
I want the practice. I want the preparation to go up. I want them to install a game plan for them. Script the first. I want to see how they look after coming back from a turnover or a touchdown.
Right.
I'm trying to see all of that. Can you get the team in audibles that you may like? Because it's going to be a lot of vanilla stuff. So for me, I'm giving these young boys an opportunity. And like you said, for the first time, I'm excited for training camp because I'm seeing a bunch of new players that are probably going to get some minutes for you. Mason Graham, I'm looking forward to. Do not be dinged up. I want to see you out there. Where's Mike Hall? Is Mike Hall?
He's fine.
He did practice.
Yeah.
He should be good.
He's good to go.
I need them. Those should be my start D tackles. Off top. I want to know Shelby Harris's. No. I need the young thoroughbreds in there.
Let's see what we got. If this is an exploratory year, the sooner the better.
Yes, it is.
The sooner the better.
Let me ask one more question and we can move on. Jason, you said that a guy like Denzel, for as accomplished as he is, doesn't hold the same weight as a LeBron if LeBron were to walk into a coach's office.
Or the quarterback.
And make a decision. I understand that different sports and all that, but how much do you think potential player pressure could have an impact in this quarterback decision? You had mentioned that guys didn't necessarily want Deshaun last year. It didn't change. But this is a totally different situation where it's supposed to be an open battle. So in an open battle, does player pressure have any impact whatsoever? Should it?
Very little. I think it has very, very little.
What if the veterans came in and said, we want Joe Flacco? Would that change how much power they had compared to if they all said, we want Shedeur Sanders?
No.
It doesn't matter which player they're pining for.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
I don't think it does either. I think at the end of the day, it matters zero. I really do. I don't think the coach is making the decision based on a defensive back or Myles Garrett or Joel Bitonio. The coaches are going to sit down together. They're going to evaluate everything and pick the starter.
You were actually in a football locker room. What do you say on this?
Here's what means more when you do this. If Myles Garrett is rushing and he pump fakes Myles Garrett, he jumps up in the air, tries to knock the ball down, Shedeur Sanders gets outside and throws a back shoulder fade on Denzel Ward and Jamari Thrash for a touchdown in the corner of the end zone on a perfect play. That's when player counts.
Performance.
That's what it counts. It don't matter what they say. They're going to go back to the film room the next morning and be like, the coach is going to say, look at that. Do you see that damn play right there?
Yeah.
This is a hell of a play.
And they'll say the same thing if Dylan Gabriel makes that play.
That's a hell of a play right there.
If you're doing that to Myles Garrett.
Or Denzel Ward, that's where Denzel Ward name comes in. Are you dinking and dunking? Are you going away from Denzel Ward, or you have no inhibitions about going after him? If I'm open, he's open. I'm throwing over there. That's how you make a name about yourself. You got to make plays. Don't just be in your gap. It doesn't. Check downs don't count. You need production.